In the quiet town where time seemed to stand still, Ethan sat in the dim light of his study, a pen poised over a sheet of parchment. His heart was heavy with doubt, a shadow that had crept into his marriage over the years. Clara, his wife, embodied grace and kindness, yet Ethan's mind was plagued by a fear that her love might have waned. Memories of their early days filled his thoughts, the laughter, the whispered secrets, the promises made under the moonlit sky. But now, those moments seemed distant, and uncertainty gnawed at his soul. With a trembling hand, he wrote a note, a simple yet poignant test to gauge the depth of her feelings. "Clara, my love," the note began, "if you still love me as you did once, prove it to me. I'll be waiting where our story began." He placed it gently on her bedside table, the ink still glistening under the soft glow of the lamp. His heart ached as he hoped for a sign of the love he feared had faded. As he stepped out into the cool night air, the memories of their first meeting flooded back, filling him with a bittersweet nostalgia. The old oak tree by the lake, where they had shared their first kiss, stood tall and silent, a witness to the years gone by. Ethan waited, each passing minute feeling like an eternity, his heart pounding with anticipation and fear. Clara awoke to the soft dawn light filtering through the curtains, casting a gentle glow on the note beside her. As her eyes adjusted, she saw Ethan's familiar handwriting, the words drawing her in with a mix of curiosity and apprehension. Her heart fluttered as she read the note, feeling a pang of sorrow and love interwoven. She remembered their beginnings, the passion and certainty that once enveloped them like a warm embrace. She sat on the edge of the bed, the memory of their laughter and shared dreams flooding back. For a moment, doubt flickered in her mind. Did he truly believe she no longer loved him? Tears welled up in her eyes as she realized the depth of his insecurities. Clara knew she had to prove her love, not just for him, but for the bond they had forged over the years. She dressed quickly, her mind racing with memories of the place where their journey had started, the old oak tree by the lake. With a determined heart, Clara left the house, her steps quickening as she moved through the quiet streets of their town. The morning air was crisp and filled with the scent of blooming flowers, a stark contrast to the turmoil within her. Each step brought her closer to the place where their love had blossomed, the anticipation growing with every breath. Clara's heart was heavy with the weight of their shared past, yet it was also lightened by the hope of rekindling the flame that once burned so brightly. Clara's journey to the old oak tree was filled with a symphony of emotions. The streets were still quiet, the world not yet fully awake. Her thoughts danced between the echoes of Ethan's laughter and the silent tears she had shed in the solitude of their home. The town seemed to hold its breath, as if aware of the significance of her mission. As she approached the lake, the familiar sight of the ancient oak came into view. Its branches stretched out, strong and comforting, like the arms of a guardian watching over their love. Clara paused for a moment, taking in the scene that had been the backdrop to so many cherished memories. The gentle rustling of leaves whispered secrets of their past, each one a testament to the love they had shared. With a deep breath, she moved closer, her fingers grazing the rough bark of the tree. The carvings they had etched into the trunk years ago were still visible, a testament to their promises and dreams. Clara traced the heart with their initials, her touch lingering on the letters, feeling the connection to those moments of pure joy and hope. Kneeling by the tree, Clara closed her eyes, letting the memories wash over her. She remembered their first kiss, the sweet innocence of their love, and the way Ethan had looked at her as if she were his entire world. Tears flowed freely as she whispered a silent prayer, asking for strength and guidance. She knew this was more than a test of her love for Ethan. It was a test of her faith in their journey, in the power of love to heal and restore. The morning sun began to rise higher, casting a warm glow over the lake and the oak tree. Clara felt a renewed sense of determination. She knew that love was not just about grand gestures, but about the everyday acts of kindness and understanding. As she stood up, she felt a sense of peace, ready to show Ethan that her love was unwavering, that their bond was unbreakable, no matter the challenges they faced. Clara walked back home with a newfound clarity, the morning sun casting a golden hue over the path. Each step was a resolve to reaffirm the love she held for Ethan. As she approached their home, she noticed the little things that once brought joy, the flowers they had planted together, the wind chimes that sang their tune, the porch swing where they had shared countless dreams. Opening the door, she was greeted by the stillness of the house. It was the same home, but it felt different now, like a space waiting to be filled with renewed love and understanding. Clara moved to the kitchen, where the remnants of their last breakfast together lingered, a half-empty coffee cup, a plate with crumbs. She gently cleaned up, each movement a silent promise to herself to cherish every moment they had together. She then made her way to their bedroom. The bed, unmade and disheveled, seemed a metaphor for their current state. Clara carefully tidied up, smoothing the sheets and fluffing the pillows, as if trying to bring order back into their lives. She found Ethan's note again on the nightstand, reading it once more with a calmer heart. Clara decided to write a letter of her own, one that would convey the depth of her feelings and the commitment she had to their marriage. She sat at the desk, her mind swirling with thoughts and emotions. Each word she wrote was a reflection of her soul, a testament to the love that had weathered so many storms. "My dearest Ethan," she began, her pen moving fluidly across the paper, "I have read your note and felt the weight of your words. Our love has been tested in ways we never imagined, but it has also grown stronger through each challenge. I want you to know that my love for you is unwavering. I am here, ready to face whatever comes our way, because you are my heart, my home." As she finished the letter, Clara felt a sense of release, as if the act of writing had lifted a burden from her heart. She placed the letter next to Ethan's note on the nightstand, hoping that when he returned, he would feel the sincerity and depth of her love. Clara then sat by the window, watching the world outside, waiting for Ethan to come home, ready to embrace whatever the future held for them. As the day turned into evening, the anticipation in Clara's heart grew with each passing hour. She had spent the afternoon in quiet reflection, wandering through the memories she and Ethan had built together. The house, now tidy and warm, seemed to echo with the whispers of their shared past, the laughter, the tears, the promises made in moments of joy and sorrow. The sun began to set, casting a soft, golden glow through the windows, filling the room with a serene light. Clara decided to prepare a simple dinner, something comforting and familiar, reminiscent of the early days of their relationship when everything felt new and exciting. She chose Ethan's favorite dish, pasta with homemade marinara sauce. As she chopped the vegetables and simmered the sauce, the aroma filled the house, creating an atmosphere of warmth and nostalgia. Clara set the table with care, lighting a few candles to add a touch of intimacy to the setting. The flickering flames danced, casting gentle shadows on the walls, and creating a cozy ambience that contrasted with the uncertainty in her heart. She glanced at the clock, feeling a mixture of hope and anxiety. Would Ethan understand the message in her letter? Would he see the depth of her commitment and love? With the table ready and dinner prepared, Clara took a moment to herself. She sat on the porch swing, the cool evening breeze brushing against her skin, and looked up at the stars beginning to appear in the twilight sky. Each star seemed like a tiny beacon of hope, a reminder that even in the vastness of uncertainty, there were points of light to guide them. As she sat there, lost in thought, she heard the sound of a car approaching. Her heart skipped a beat. It was Ethan. She stood up, smoothing her dress and taking a deep breath, preparing herself for the conversation that would shape their future. Ethan stepped out of the car, his face a canvas of emotions, worry, hope, and a hint of fear. Clara walked towards him, her steps slow and deliberate, each one a testament to her resolve. They met halfway, standing in the gentle glow of the porch light, their eyes locking in a silent exchange of words unspoken. "Clara," Ethan began, his voice trembling slightly, "I didn't know if you'd still be here." Clara reached out, taking his hand in hers. "I am here, Ethan. I read your note, and I've written one for you too. But more than words, I want to show you that I'm committed to us, to our love." Ethan's eyes softened, and he squeezed her hand. "I'm sorry for everything, Clara. I've been so lost in my fears and insecurities that I forgot what truly matters, us." Clara smiled, a tear slipping down her cheek. "We've both made mistakes, Ethan, but we can find our way back to each other. Let's go inside and talk, really talk." Together, they walked back into the house, ready to face their fears and rebuild their love, one honest conversation at a time. As they entered the house, the familiar scent of the pasta Clara had prepared greeted them, a comforting reminder of simpler times. Ethan took in the warmth of the candlelight, the cozy setting Clara had created, and felt a wave of gratitude wash over him. This was home, and it was clear that Clara had put her heart into making it a place of love and comfort. They sat down at the table, the atmosphere filled with a mixture of anticipation and a quiet determination to mend what had been broken. Clara served the pasta, the steam rising in delicate curls, carrying with it the aroma of tomatoes and basil. They ate in silence at first, the only sounds the clinking of cutlery and the gentle crackle of the candles. After a few moments, Clara looked up, her eyes meeting Ethan's. "Ethan, I want to understand what you're feeling. What made you write that note?" Ethan sighed, setting down his fork. "Clara, I've been so afraid of losing you. I know I haven't been the easiest person to live with. My insecurities and fears, they've clouded my judgment. Writing that note was my way of trying to see if you still cared, if you were still committed to us." Clara reached across the table, her hand finding his. "Ethan, I've never stopped caring. But we need to face these fears together, not test each other's love. We need to be open, to communicate." Ethan nodded, his eyes reflecting the flickering candlelight. "You're right, Clara. I've let my doubts control me, and I'm sorry. I want to change. I want us to work." Clara squeezed his hand, a small smile playing on her lips. "I believe we can, Ethan. But it's going to take effort from both of us. We need to rebuild our trust, piece by piece." They continued their dinner, the conversation flowing more easily now, as if a dam had been broken. They talked about their fears, their dreams, and the small moments that had brought them joy in their years together. It was a conversation filled with honesty, vulnerability, and a renewed sense of hope. As they finished their meal, Ethan stood up and moved to Clara's side of the table. He knelt down, taking her hands in his. "Clara, I'm committed to us. I want to face our challenges together, not as two individuals testing each other, but as a team, united in our love." Clara felt tears welling up again, but this time they were tears of hope. She pulled Ethan into a tight embrace, feeling the weight of their past fears and misunderstandings lifting. "I'm with you, Ethan. Always." They held each other for a long moment, the warmth of their embrace melting away the residual tension. In that quiet, candlelit room, they found a renewed commitment to their love, ready to face the future together, hand in hand. As the days passed, Ethan and Clara began to rebuild their lives together, step by step. They decided to seek counseling, understanding that professional guidance could help them navigate the complexities of their relationship. Each session brought new insights and deeper understanding, as they confronted their fears and learned to communicate more effectively. One afternoon, after a particularly emotional session, they decided to take a walk in the nearby park. The autumn leaves crunched under their feet, and the crisp air was filled with the scent of fallen leaves and the distant laughter of children. It was a place where they had shared many happy moments, and now it seemed fitting to revisit it as they worked to heal. Ethan stopped by a bench, the very one where he had proposed to Clara years ago. "Do you remember this place?" he asked, his voice soft with nostalgia. Clara smiled, her eyes bright with the memory. "Of course, I do. It's where you asked me to spend the rest of my life with you." He took her hands, looking deeply into her eyes. "Clara, I want us to create new memories here. To fill this park with moments of joy and love. I know we've been through a lot, but I believe in us. I believe in our love." Tears glistened in Clara's eyes as she squeezed his hands. "I believe in us too, Ethan. We've faced our darkest times, and we're still standing. That gives me hope." They sat down on the bench, the gentle rustling of leaves providing a soothing backdrop. They talked about their dreams for the future, the places they wanted to visit, and the experiences they wanted to share. It was a conversation filled with optimism and a renewed sense of purpose. Ethan pulled a small notebook from his jacket pocket. "I've been writing down my thoughts," he said, flipping through the pages. "Things I want to say to you, promises I want to keep. I want to share them with you." Clara listened as Ethan read aloud, his voice steady but filled with emotion. Each word was a testament to his love and commitment, a promise to be a better partner, to always strive for honesty and understanding. When he finished, Clara leaned in and kissed him gently. "Thank you, Ethan, for your words, your promises. I have something for you too." She reached into her bag and pulled out a small, handwritten letter. "I wrote this after our first counseling session. It's my way of expressing how much I believe in us, and how grateful I am for this second chance." Ethan read the letter, his heart swelling with love and gratitude. It was a beautiful reflection of Clara's feelings, filled with hope and a deep sense of connection. As he finished, he looked up at her, his eyes shining with unshed tears. "I love you, Clara," he said, his voice thick with emotion. "And I'm so grateful for you. For us." They embraced, feeling the warmth of their renewed bond. In that park, amidst the autumn leaves and the memories of their past, they found a sense of peace and a promise of a brighter future. With each passing day, Ethan and Clara's bond grew stronger. Their commitment to healing and rebuilding their relationship brought a renewed sense of closeness. One evening, as the first stars began to twinkle in the twilight sky, they sat together on their porch, wrapped in the comfort of each other's presence. The cool breeze carried the scent of blooming night flowers, and the gentle chirping of crickets provided a soothing symphony. Ethan broke the silence, his voice filled with quiet resolve. "Clara, there's something I've been thinking about. I want to do something special for you, something that shows how much you mean to me." Clara looked at him, curiosity and love shining in her eyes. "What do you have in mind, Ethan?" He took her hand, his thumb gently caressing her fingers. "I want to renew our vows. I want to stand before our friends and family and tell them, and you, how deeply I love you and how committed I am to our future together." A tear slipped down Clara's cheek, and she smiled, overwhelmed by his gesture. "Ethan, that's beautiful. I would love that. It would mean so much to me." They spent the next few weeks planning the ceremony. It wasn't just about the vows, it was about celebrating their journey, their struggles, and their triumphs. They chose a small, intimate gathering in the garden where they had first fallen in love. The setting was perfect, with flowers in full bloom and fairy lights twinkling in the evening light. On the day of the vow renewal, Clara stood before a mirror, adjusting her dress. It was simple yet elegant, symbolizing the purity and strength of their renewed love. Her heart raced with anticipation and joy. As she looked at her reflection, memories of their journey flooded her mind, the pain, the healing, the love that had brought them to this moment. Ethan waited for her in the garden, his heart pounding with a mix of nerves and excitement. He wore a suit that Clara had always loved, and he felt a sense of calm wash over him as he thought about the words he would soon speak. The guests, their closest friends and family, gathered around, their faces filled with happiness and support. When Clara stepped into the garden, Ethan's breath caught in his throat. She looked radiant, her beauty enhanced by the love and strength that emanated from her. As she walked toward him, their eyes locked, and in that moment, nothing else existed but the two of them. They stood together under the arch of flowers, holding hands, their gazes never wavering. The officiant began the ceremony, but Ethan and Clara were lost in their own world, their hearts beating as one. Ethan spoke first, his voice steady and filled with emotion. "Clara, you are my light, my love, my everything. We have faced so much together, and through it all, my love for you has only grown stronger. Today, I promise to cherish you, to support you, and to love you unconditionally for the rest of my life." Tears streamed down Clara's face as she listened to his words, her heart overflowing with love. When it was her turn, she took a deep breath and began, her voice trembling with emotion. "Ethan, you are my rock, my confidant, my soulmate. We have walked through darkness and found our way back to the light. I promise to stand by your side, to honor you, and to love you with all my heart, always." As they exchanged their vows, the garden seemed to glow with the warmth of their love. The applause and cheers from their loved ones faded into the background as Ethan and Clara shared a tender kiss, sealing their promises with a symbol of their enduring love. In that magical moment, surrounded by the beauty of nature and the support of their loved ones, Ethan and Clara knew they had found something truly precious. Their journey was far from over, but together, they could face anything. After the vow renewal ceremony, Ethan and Clara felt a renewed sense of unity and purpose. They decided to take a short trip to a place that held special meaning to them, the small cabin by the lake where they had spent their honeymoon. As they drove through the winding roads surrounded by the lush greenery, they talked about their hopes and dreams for the future, feeling a sense of excitement and anticipation. The cabin, nestled among tall trees and overlooking a serene lake, was just as they remembered it. Stepping inside, they were greeted by the familiar scent of pine and the cozy warmth of the wooden interior. Clara walked over to the fireplace, running her fingers along the mantel where they had once carved their initials. Ethan stood by the window, looking out at the tranquil waters, memories of their early days together flooding his mind. That evening, they sat on the porch, wrapped in blankets, watching the sun set over the lake. The sky transformed into a canvas of oranges, pinks, and purples, reflecting off the calm surface of the water. Clara leaned her head on Ethan's shoulder, her heart filled with contentment. The peace of the moment enveloped them, a stark contrast to the turmoil they had faced. Ethan reached for Clara's hand, holding it gently. "Clara, do you remember our first night here?" Clara smiled, her eyes twinkling with nostalgia. "How could I forget? We stayed up all night talking and dreaming about our future." Ethan nodded, a soft chuckle escaping his lips. "We were so full of hope and excitement. And now, sitting here with you, I realize that despite everything we've been through, that hope and excitement are still there. Maybe even more so." They spent the next few days exploring the area, hiking through the forest, and taking long walks by the lake. They talked about their journey, the challenges they had overcome, and the lessons they had learned. Each conversation brought them closer, deepening their understanding and appreciation of one another. One afternoon, they decided to take out the old rowboat that had been left by the previous owners. As they paddled out onto the lake, the gentle rocking of the boat and the rhythmic sound of the oars in the water created a soothing backdrop. They found a quiet spot in the middle of the lake and stopped, letting the boat drift. Ethan looked at Clara, his expression serious yet tender. "Clara, I've been thinking a lot about us, about our future. I want to make sure we never lose sight of what's important. I want us to always find time for each other, to keep our love strong." Clara reached out, cupping his face in her hands. "Ethan, we've faced so much already, and we've come out stronger. As long as we keep communicating, keep loving each other, I know we can handle anything. This trip, this time together, it's a reminder of what we're fighting for." They sat in silence for a while, soaking in the beauty of their surroundings and the depth of their connection. The lake, with its mirrored surface, seemed to reflect not only the landscape but also their journey, calm yet profound, serene yet filled with hidden depths. As the sun began to set, casting a golden glow over the water, Ethan and Clara paddled back to the shore. They walked hand in hand to the cabin, their hearts light and their spirits lifted. The time spent at the lake had been more than just a getaway. It had been a reaffirmation of their love and commitment. That night, as they lay in bed, the sound of the gentle lapping of the lake lulling them to sleep, Clara whispered, "Ethan, thank you for bringing us here. It's exactly what we needed." Ethan kissed her forehead, his heart full. "Thank you, Clara, for believing in us, for fighting for us. Together, we can create the future we've always dreamed of." And with that, they drifted into a peaceful sleep, knowing that no matter what challenges lay ahead, they would face them together, their love a beacon of light guiding them through. Returning from the cabin, Ethan and Clara felt a renewed sense of purpose and connection. As they drove back to their daily lives, they carried with them the serenity of the lake, the peace of their shared moments, and the strength of their renewed vows. The trip had been a turning point, a bridge between their past struggles and the promise of a brighter future. Once home, they decided to make some changes to their daily routine to ensure they maintained the closeness they had rediscovered. They began each morning with a quiet breakfast together, sitting by the kitchen window, watching the world wake up. These moments, though simple, became sacred, a daily reminder of their commitment to each other. Ethan made a conscious effort to leave work at a reasonable hour, determined not to let his job consume him. He wanted to be present for Clara, to be an active participant in their life together. Clara, too, found new ways to balance her responsibilities, ensuring she had time and energy for their relationship. They both recognized the importance of nurturing their love, of making it a priority amidst the demands of everyday life. One evening, as they prepared dinner together, Clara turned to Ethan with a thoughtful expression. "Ethan, I've been thinking. What if we started a new tradition, something that's just ours?" Ethan looked up from chopping vegetables, intrigued. "What do you have in mind?" Clara smiled, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "What if we had a date night every week? No matter how busy we get, we set aside one night just for us. We could try new things, explore the city, or even stay in and have a cozy night at home. The important thing is that we dedicate that time to each other." Ethan's heart swelled with love and appreciation. "I think that's a wonderful idea, Clara. Let's make it a promise." And so, their weekly date nights began. Each one was different, filled with laughter, discovery, and deep conversations. Sometimes they went out to a new restaurant, other times they took a long walk in the park or watched a movie together at home. These nights became a cherished tradition, a cornerstone of their relationship. As the months passed, they found themselves growing closer than ever before. They learned to communicate more openly, to share their dreams and fears without hesitation. The trust between them deepened, creating a solid foundation that could withstand any storm. One particularly memorable date night, they decided to revisit the place where they had first met, a small, charming bookstore tucked away in a quiet corner of the city. As they walked through the familiar aisles, memories of their early days together flooded back. They found the exact spot where their eyes had first met, and Ethan pulled Clara into his arms. "Clara," he whispered, his voice filled with emotion, "meeting you here was the best thing that ever happened to me. You've changed my life in ways I could never have imagined." Clara's eyes glistened with tears of happiness. "And you've changed mine, Ethan. I can't imagine my life without you." They stood there, holding each other, surrounded by the scent of old books and the quiet hum of the bookstore. In that moment, they knew that no matter where life took them, they would always find their way back to each other. Their love story was not one of grand gestures or dramatic moments, but of small, everyday acts of love and kindness. It was in the way Ethan made Clara coffee every morning, in the way Clara listened attentively to Ethan's stories about his day, in the way they both worked together to create a home filled with warmth and laughter. As they walked out of the bookstore, hand in hand, the city lights twinkling around them, they felt a profound sense of gratitude for the journey they had shared. They knew that their love, tested and strengthened by life's challenges, was a rare and precious gift. And so, they continued to build their life together, one day at a time, knowing that as long as they had each other, they could face anything. Their love was a beacon, a guiding light that would see them through the darkest nights and the brightest days, forever and always. As Ethan and Clara continued to nurture their love, life threw them another unexpected challenge. One day, Clara received a call that left her shaken, a health scare that required immediate attention and a series of tests. The news hit them like a tidal wave, threatening to wash away the peace they had painstakingly built. Ethan was at work when Clara called him, her voice trembling. "Ethan, I'm at the doctor's office. They found something during my routine checkup. They need to run more tests." Ethan's heart dropped. He could hear the fear in Clara's voice, and it mirrored his own. "I'm coming to you right now," he said, already grabbing his keys. We'll face this together. At the doctor's office, they sat in the sterile room, holding hands tightly. The doctor explained the need for further tests to determine the nature of the abnormality. Clara's mind raced with worst-case scenarios, but Ethan squeezed her hand, grounding her. "We've been through so much, Clara. Whatever this is, we'll get through it too," he said, his voice steady despite the fear gnawing at him. The days that followed were a blur of hospital visits, tests, and anxious waiting. Each appointment felt like an eternity, each moment a test of their resilience. But through it all, Ethan remained by Clara's side, his presence a constant source of strength. One night, as they lay in bed, Clara turned to Ethan, tears streaming down her face. "Ethan, what if it's serious? What if?" Ethan gently wiped her tears away, his eyes reflecting a fierce determination. "Clara, no matter what happens, we'll face it together. You're not alone in this. We have each other, and we'll fight this with everything we've got." Clara nodded, her heart swelling with love and gratitude. She felt a sense of peace, knowing Ethan was with her every step of the way. His unwavering support gave her the courage to face the uncertainty ahead. The day of the final test results arrived, and they walked into the doctor's office hand in hand, their hearts pounding in unison. As they waited, the minutes stretched into an agonizing eternity. Finally, the doctor entered, his expression serious yet compassionate. "Clara, Ethan," he began, "the results are in. The abnormality is benign. It's something we need to monitor, but it's not life-threatening." Relief washed over them like a tidal wave, and Clara burst into tears, a mix of overwhelming emotions. Ethan pulled her into his arms, holding her tightly. "Thank you," Clara whispered through her tears. "Thank you for being here with me." Ethan kissed the top of her head, his own eyes glistening. "Always, Clara. Always." That night, they returned home with a renewed appreciation for each other and the life they had built. The scare had reminded them of the fragility of life and the importance of cherishing every moment together. They spent the evening wrapped in each other's arms, sharing stories, laughter, and quiet moments of reflection. Their love had been tested once again, and once again, it had emerged stronger. As they lay in bed, Clara nestled against Ethan's chest. She felt a profound sense of gratitude. "Ethan, I don't know what I would have done without you." Ethan smiled, kissing her forehead. "We're a team, Clara. We face everything together. That's what love is." In the quiet of the night, with the soft glow of the moon casting gentle shadows across their room, they drifted off to sleep, their hearts beating as one. They knew that whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them together, with love, courage, and an unbreakable bond. Their journey had been one of highs and lows, of trials and triumphs. But through it all, their love had remained a constant, a beacon of hope and strength. And as they embraced the future, they did so with the knowledge that their love was a force that could conquer anything, as long as they had each other. In the wake of their ordeal, Clara and Ethan found themselves more deeply connected than ever before. The health scare had served as a stark reminder of the preciousness of time and the importance of savoring every moment together. They began to cherish the mundane aspects of their life, finding joy in the simplest of activities. One evening, as they sat on their porch, the golden hues of the sunset painting the sky, Clara turned to Ethan, her eyes reflecting the vibrant colors of the horizon. "Ethan, I've been thinking a lot about what we've been through. It's made me realize how much I want to live fully, without fear." Ethan nodded, his hand gently caressing hers. I feel the same way, Clara. Let's make a promise to each other, to embrace life, to seek out joy in every day, and to never take each other for granted. Clara smiled, her heart swelling with love. I promise, she said, her voice soft but filled with conviction. They sealed their promise with a kiss, the world around them fading away as they focused on each other. From that day forward, they embarked on a journey of intentional living. They traveled to places they had always dreamed of visiting, from the serene beaches of Greece to the bustling streets of Tokyo. They explored new hobbies together, from painting to hiking, each new experience bringing them closer. Their home became a sanctuary of love and laughter, filled with the warmth of shared memories. They hosted dinner parties for friends and family, their table always brimming with good food and heartfelt conversations. Every corner of their house echoed with the joy they cultivated, a testament to their commitment to each other and to living fully. One evening, as they danced in their living room to their favorite song, Clara felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude. She looked up at Ethan, her eyes shining with tears of happiness. Ethan, you've given me so much more than I ever thought possible. Thank you for loving me, for standing by me. Ethan pulled her close, his voice a tender whisper in her ear. Clara, you've made my life infinitely better. Every moment with you is a gift, and I'm so grateful for our love. Their dance continued, a silent celebration of the life they had built together. The moonlight streamed through the windows, casting a gentle glow over them, as if the universe itself was acknowledging their love. As the years passed, Clara and Ethan's bond only grew stronger. They faced challenges with unwavering support for each other, and they celebrated their victories with boundless joy. Their love story became an inspiration to those around them, a reminder of the power of love and resilience. In their twilight years, as they sat together on their porch, watching yet another breathtaking sunset, Clara took Ethan's hand. We've lived a beautiful life, haven't we? Ethan squeezed her hand gently, his eyes filled with a lifetime of love. Yes, Clara. We've lived a life full of love, adventure, and happiness. I wouldn't have wanted it any other way. With those words, they embraced the sunset, their hearts content and their souls intertwined. They knew that no matter what the future held, their love would endure, a timeless testament to the beauty of living fully and loving deeply. And so, under the fading light of the setting sun, Clara and Ethan's love story continued, a symphony of emotions that resonated through the ages, a legacy of love that would never fade.